and this is my channel, How to Train Your Caterpillar, which is a spiritual life coaching channel. You're very, very welcome here. Thank you very much for checking out the video. And you know, if you feel like it resonates, you know, if you feel like it's useful and you enjoy the video and you feel like liking and subscribing for me, I'd appreciate that very much. So this video is going to be like a basic introduction to the chakras, just because I think the chakras are very, very important. You know, there's something that I personally am kind of obsessed with. Like, if you watch my tarot readings, you'll probably know that I talk about them all the time, but they're so important. They're pretty colours, and you know, a few people have also said like, I don't really know how to do shadow work kind of thing. So like shadow work, a lot of the time, if you want to know more about shadow work, you can check out my video on shadow work. But a lot of the time shadow work is something that's just triggered, you know. But if you wanted to kind of delve into your emotions and kind of maybe a little bit of your shadow self, the chakras are actually a really good way to do it. So that's what this video is going to be about. I'm going to try and keep it short, so I'm going to do different videos on each of the chakras. So like I said, this is just a really basic introduction. So the chakras are the energy centers of your body. There are 7. For the purposes of this video, there are 7. There are actually more than 7, but when people are talking about the chakras, these are generally the ones they're talking about, these 7. So they are energy centers in your body. They are connected to the meridians, for those of you who have an interest in the meridians. They are kind of like, they're little swirly vortexes, like a little, you know, like a whirlpool that you get in water. They're like that, but they're kind of like, they sit this way. They don't sit that way, they sit this way. So they're little swirly vortexes of power. So the thing about the chakras is they can become gunked up over the years with like emotional experiences and memories. And it can affect your emotional well-being and also your physical well-being, because the chakras are kind of aligned with different points in your body, different organs, totally blank there, different organs in your body. So if they're really, really blocked, it can actually manifest as a health issue. Obviously, I'm not saying that you should neglect medical treatment in favor of the chakras, but dealing with these blockages can help. So the chakras can become blocked. They can also become too open, neither of which are good. So you want them to be balanced, okay? Because I'm going to explain a bit more later, but like being closed and being too open, neither one of these is what you want. You want them to be balanced. There is a little bit of a disagreement. I believe somebody told me in one of the comments on my tarot channel that in India, they believe, because obviously this is where all the chakras come from, like the information about the chakras, because chakra is like a Sanskrit word. The Indians believe that you can actually clear out the chakras completely, whereas in the West, I feel like we think that we can, right? I don't know. But what I can say is that, like I said, I'm a bit obsessed with the chakras, probably because of the colors. I'm like a 5-year-old, like I really like colors. I like bright colors. So when I found out about the chakras, I was like, ooh, those are pretty. So I've done a lot of work on mine, and I can tell you that it definitely helps me. For example, if you can hear like a weird noise in the background, I actually have a throat chakra meditation on in the background that I use quite a lot to help me open up my throat chakra, which I will get into later. So the thing that you're going to want to know first, right, is because you're probably going, well, how do I know if they're open, right? How do I know if my chakras are open? Well, first of all, let's talk about where they are, okay? I'm going to put a picture here. So there's 7, okay? The lowest one is the root chakra, or some people call it the base chakra, which is around about your pelvic area. And then you move up to the sacral chakra, which sometimes is called the navel chakra because it's just underneath your belly button. Then in the middle of your torso, there's the solar plexus chakra. Then you move up to the heart chakra, the throat chakra, the third eye, and the crown chakra. So the first thing you're going to want to do is find out which chakras are open, okay? And you don't have to pay someone to do that for you. There's a really easy way of doing it. So if you have something like this kicking around your house, or maybe you could buy one, it's kind of like a pendulum. I don't know if you can see it, this camera probably won't focus, but see, it's like a sort of black tourmaline necklace. It doesn't matter what crystal it is, doesn't have to be a crystal, but it's just something long and kind of pendulum like. Or you can obviously use a pendulum. If you don't have anything like that to hand, you could even use a paper clip on a string. That's the throat chakra music. Sorry. It doesn't really matter what you use, as long as it's something like on a chain or on a string and it's like a long, kind of a longer thing. So like I was saying, the chakras are kind of little swirly vortexes, okay? So first thing to do is Google where the chakras are, okay? And then lie down, because remember, like I said, they're actually, they swirl like this, right? Like this. So if you lie down, it'll be swirling like that, like a whirlpool. So if you hold your pendulum or your paper clip over, paper clip on a string, that's the key. It's not going to do anything if it's not on a string. If you hold it over each chakra, start at the root chakra, obviously, and work your way up. If it swings in a circle, if it goes in a circle, that means it's open. If it goes from side to side like this, it probably won't move that fast, it'll just be like that. Almost like it's shaking its head no, that means it's closed. And that's one of the ones you need to work on. Sometimes if they're really open, it'll be like this, which is maybe a sign that you might want to work on balancing that one, okay? So that's the first thing to do, is like figure out which chakras are open, which ones you need to be working on. Because that's one of the reasons I'm not going to go super detailed into the different chakras today, because there's some that I have to work on a lot, so I know a lot about them. But for example, like I find I have to work on my root chakra quite a lot because I'm a Gemini, I'm a bit spacey, and various other reasons, but yours might be totally fine, right? When you check it, you might be totally fine with the root chakra, so there's no point in me really going on about that, right? It's just going to waste your time. So if you sort of check which ones are open, then later on I'm going to do different videos, like more detailed ones for each of the chakras, and you can go and check it out, right? So this is just going to be an introduction. So I'm going to leave in the description box, I'm going to leave, if you watch my tarot channel, you'll know that I leave these meditations in the description box all the time. Some overnight chakra clearing meditations, and they're called meditations, but they're really frequencies, okay? Like I have one on at the moment because everything vibrates at a certain frequency, so each of the chakras vibrate at a different frequency. So it's like, I don't make any money from, I'm not affiliated with this other channel at all that I'm going to recommend to you. But it's like an 8 or 9 hour overnight chakra clearing, and you just put it on overnight, and they're really helpful because obviously because it's overnight, it kind of gets through your subconscious, which is what I need. I need that because my brain tends to be kind of resistant to things, so I use it overnight all the time. I would start, like if you do your test and you find out a bunch of them are blocked, which is normal by the way, I would start with the root chakra first. It just makes more sense, you know, because like the root chakra is kind of where you get all your energy from the earth. If the root chakra is blocked, it makes it kind of difficult for energy to flow up to the top, the upper ones anyway. So I would start with the root chakra. So in the description box, I'm going to leave a list of the overnight chakras. I'm going to leave the best meditations that I have found. You don't even really need to meditate with them. I mean, it's better if you do, but they're frequencies, so just having it on in the background will do a lot. And I'm also going to leave a really quick cheat one. It's like a tune-up that I found. It's like a 7-minute chakra tune-up that's really, really useful. But what I would say is if you're going to use the shorter ones, don't use them at work, don't use them when you're out in public, especially if it's the first time you've done any chakra clearing, because there's a lot of emotions stored in these chakras. You know, especially if you're just clearing them out for the first time, you might start crying, you know, you might have some, I don't know, memories or something come up. So especially if you just start doing it, you might want to wait until you're at home, right? Or it's a time when you don't have anything else to do, right? And it doesn't matter if you have to spend 10 or 15 minutes crying, right? Yes, so let's talk about the individual chakras. So the root chakra is like right about your pelvis. So this is the base, excuse me, the lowest one of the chakras, the base chakra. It's red. Each of the chakras have a different color. So the root chakra is red. The root chakra, just on an interesting by the by, the root chakra is linked to past lives. So if you put on the root chakra overnight clearing, you may have some funky dreams about your past life, because that's what happened to me. It's also the chakra that is associated with different fears, which are often connected. If you find excuse me, if you find that there are some random fears that you have in this life and you're not really sure where they've come from, like, I don't know, a fear of heights or like something like that, you know, you might find that it's actually linked to a past life, right? You might find that you fell from a tall building or something in a past life, and that's why you have that fear now. So yeah, just a little bit of a heads up about that. Also, if you're going to do the root chakra one, it can mess with your stomach, okay? That's just what I'm going to say. So make sure if it's the first time you're doing it, make sure you've got nothing going on the day after, okay? So the root chakra is red. The lowest of the chakras. This is the one that draws up energy from the earth. So this chakra is all about I need. It deals with survival, okay? So like food, shelter, money, feeling safe and secure. If for any reason those basic needs are not being met, or you fear they're not going to get met, or you fear they're not being met, this chakra can become blocked. Like for example, if you have lost your job, right, there's a good chance that you're going to have problems with that chakra. If there's been some kind of big event in your life that's made you feel unstable and it's kind of pulled the rug out from underneath you, it's probably going to affect your root chakra. Of course, this one can become blocked they can all become blocked early on in life, okay? So the thing about the chakras is you can temporarily clear them, because you're probably going to have to do that a lot. If it's something, particularly the root, they can all become blocked in childhood, but I find the root chakra and the sacral chakra are the ones that become blocked in childhood a lot. So until you deal with the root cause of why you're feeling kind of insecure in some way as an adult, it will probably keep becoming blocked, but you can temporarily clear them, you know what I mean? And also you can clear out some of those emotions. So like the more that you do the chakra clearing, the more likely it is that you're going to find the root cause of why it keeps getting blocked. So that's the main deal with the root chakra. Ways to open up the root chakra. Also, I just want to mention, the root chakra is all about being present within your body, being kind of grounded within your body, because it's the root chakra that connects you to the earth, right? Because it's the lowest one. So if it's closed, there's kind of no energy coming up from the earth, so you won't feel very present, you won't feel grounded, you'll just be kind of off in la la land, like I frequently am, and just off in la la land, like, I don't know, daydreaming and just living in your head. So it's, if people keep telling you that you need to ground your energy, or that's something you hear a lot, you might want to work on your root chakra, because that's the chakra that grounds you, okay? So ways to open this chakra, because the chakras are all different colors, anything that you do to correspond to that color will help to open it. So this is true of all the chakras, okay? So you can eat the corresponding color. So the root chakra is red, so you can eat red food. You can wear red clothes. you can surround yourself with red. I'm also going to leave in the description box some chants, because each of the chakras resonates with a different frequency. It resonates with a different chant, which I'm not going to do because I feel silly doing it in front of a camera, but I'll leave it in the description box. So you can wear red or you can eat red food. You can chant the correct chant for that chakra. You can obviously use the meditations. Any kind of physical activity will help to open this, because it is to do with grounding and it is to do with being present in your body. So obviously physical activity will help with that, right? You know, like any kind of exercise, going for a walk, doing some chores, like things that help you be present rather than you sitting spacing out daydreaming, right? That will help. Anything that gets the blood pumping will help with the root chakra opening. Yeah, you can also use crystals as well, like the corresponding crystal colors. I can't think of any, I don't know the names of the red crystal, like red jasper I think is one. But any kind of red crystal will help you open the root chakra. This one, if it's too open, you may find that you're very sluggish. Like if it's closed, you might find you're quite anxious, quite nervous, like you're kind of like tense all the time. Because you're worried. You're worried about not having shelter, or you're worried about not feeling safe, or you're worried about not having enough money, right? Workaholics tend to have that chakra closed. So that's the root chakra. The next one is the sacral chakra, which is orange. So the root chakra is dealing with like the basic needs. So once that's dealt with, we move on to the kind of more fluffy one, which is the sacral chakra, which deals with I want. So once your basic needs have been met, you're starting to think about, okay, now I've got everything I need to survive. Now what do I want? What do I actually want? Which means that you're tapping into emotions. It's also, the sacral chakra is one of the seats of self-expression. It's often called the seat of the soul. So it's like the expression, when it's open, when it's balanced, it's like the expression of the self can easily come through. So you'll find it easier to be creative. You'll find it easier to think of new things to do. You will start to engage with hobbies, right? If this chakra is closed, you may find that you don't even really know what you enjoy doing, okay? Because you're not engaging with that part of yourself. You're dealing with like survival, or you're dealing with pleasing other people. You're kind of almost neglecting your inner child, you're neglecting your own emotions, right? It's almost like if it's closed, you're kind of going, my emotions don't matter. What I want doesn't matter. I have a list of chores to do as long as my arm. I'm just going to have to shut that down. So like if it's closed, you may find that you actually find it difficult to identify what emotion you are currently feeling. Like I say, this is one of the chakras that gets blocked in childhood for one reason or another, which I'm going to go into in the deeper video. But yeah, like if you're kind of, if you just test yourself, like if you do your little pendulum test, right, and then you're like, oh, the sacral chakra's not open. If you just test yourself at some point in the day, just stop yourself and be like, what am I actually feeling? You might not be able to think of it right away. You might have to sit with yourself for a while and be like, oh, I'm feeling anxious, or I'm feeling sad. If it's too open, you might find yourself being overly emotional, like you might find yourself prone to crying a lot without having a reason, really, you know what I mean? Being a bit overwhelmed by your emotions, that can be a sign that it's too open. So it resonates with water. So one of the ways that you can balance this chakra is you can deal with water. You can drink water, you can have a bath, you can have a shower, you can go swimming. This chakra also deals with like joy. If it is closed, you'll maybe find that it's difficult for you to feel joy in your day-to-day life, because it also deals with a feeling of contentment. If it's closed, you'll find it very hard to feel contentment. You'll always be trying to do the next thing, right? Whereas if it's balanced, you'll kind of be in this energy of like, ah, this is nice, like everything is okay, I'm gonna do something nice for myself. It makes it a lot easier for you to find joy in the present moment rather than always thinking like what you're gonna do next. So obviously it is orange, so you can eat orange food, you can wear orange clothes, you can do your meditations, you can do your chanting. Like I said, anything with water. Because this is the chakra that deals with like I want, in order to really open it, you have to really start spoiling yourself a bit, right? Because if it's closed, you may find that you kind of deny yourself a lot of things, right? Like instead of taking some time to go for a nice bath, you're kind of going to be like, no, I have this list of things to do, I'm just going to do the list of things. But when the sacral chakra starts to open, it's when you start being like, no, I'm not doing that, I'm tired, I'm going for a bath. You know what I mean? Or like, I'm not doing that list of chores. I'm just, not in a sluggish way, but just at some point you start to be like, no, like I need to make some time for myself, I want to do something nice. You know, maybe I'll go for a walk, or like maybe I'll sit and watch a movie and just cuddle up in my bed or something. Also, any kind of creativity is going to help unblock this chakra, because it's like dealing with the inner child. Because that's very much what your inner child is about, like I want, right? Yeah, I'll get into that more in a different video, but that's what children are about, right? Children are like, I want, like what do I want to do? I want to color, or like I want to do this random thing. I'm going to take this £10 note and I'm going to put it in the toilet. I'm going to do things that I want to do, right? So when you start to kind of tap into that and maybe spoil yourself a little as well, like, you know, it's just, I don't know, spending an extra £10 on like something nice to decorate the house, right? Or like taking a bit of extra time to wear something nice and maybe do your hair, you know, this kind of thing. Also, obviously, you can use crystals to balance it too. But yeah, a key sign that this is closed is like you have trouble tapping into your emotions. That's a key sign for that one. The next one is the solar plexus, which is just kind of the middle of your torso, and it's yellow. The solar plexus is yellow. So this one is all about confidence, self-worth, and motivation. If this one is, it's also about your intuition, like following your gut, because the solar plexus literally deals with like your intestines, so it's like it's following your gut instinct, listening to your own advice rather than kind of listening to what other people are saying. Because other people don't know what's right for you. Only you know what's right for you most of the time, you know what I mean? So yeah, this one's all about like self-worth. Okay, so if it's closed, you are going to struggle with self-confidence, you're going to struggle with feelings of self-worth, you're going to struggle with listening to your own intuition. Maybe you allow yourself to be swayed by other people's opinions quite easily, right? Also, it deals with motivation, because the thing about motivation is, like, if it's being you can be motivated to do things for other people, right? Because you're seeking their validation. But in order to be motivated to do things for yourself, like to make your life better, you know, like to exercise or to go that extra mile to do something good for yourself, right? Like say you have a boss and your boss is like, hey, I want to give you this promotion, but it would involve you doing some public speaking, right? You would have to do like a group meeting once a month. If your chakra is, if the solar plexus chakra is open, you're gonna, if it's balanced, you're gonna be like, okay, cool, like I could do that. I mean, I'm a bit nervous about having to speak, like that's something new, but I can do it. Because this chakra is all about I can, right? I can do that. But if it's closed, you're immediately gonna be like, I can't do that. I mean, what you're saying is I won't. You're saying I won't. I can't is really I won't, right? But it's because you lack that kind of self-confidence, that self-worth, that motivation, because you can do it. You can easily do a group meeting for 20 people, of course you can, right? And if you wanted to make your life better, like have that motivation to make your own life better, you would just get past the nerves and just do it, right? Because nobody really likes public, I mean, some some people like to be heard, I don't know, but I think nobody really, most people don't enjoy public speaking, but it's something like, I feel like the higher you move up the ladder kind of thing, they make you do it more, you know, like you have to do like public, or like you have to have like a team meeting and all this kind of stuff. But you know, if this is open, if it's balanced, you're gonna be like, yeah, I can do that, I can do that for like that extra pay, yeah, no problem, I can do that. But if it's closed, you're gonna be like, no, I don't have the confidence to do that. And like I said, also, you know, you can be easily swayed by other people's opinions, you know. Like also, if someone insults you, sometimes you can feel it right here in your solar plexus, like if this is not balanced, because you're being swayed by other people's opinions, right? Because someone has gone, geez, you suck at that, right? And you're like, oh my god, do I? Whereas if it was balanced, you would be like, no, I don't, you suck, get out of here, you know what I mean? If it's too open, you might find yourself being super bossy. I feel like a lot of the people that are watching are probably not this is, I feel like you're probably, it's closed, right? But if it was too open, you might find yourself being really bossy or really critical or something like this, you know, trying to control other people. So that's the solar plexus. Like to open this one, obviously you can eat yellow food, you can wear yellow, you can do your meditations, you can use yellow crystal, you can use your chanting. Also affirmations, I forgot to talk about affirmations. There are many different affirmations you can Google. I don't really use the affirmations, I don't know why, it's just not my thing. I prefer sound healing, but affirmations are big ones for the chakras as well. You can just Google, you know, solar plexus affirmations and there'll be a ton there. But working on your self-confidence is what's really going to help you open this chakra, and in turn opening this chakra will help your self-confidence. I use it a lot. The overnight meditation, I use this one a lot because I find it really helps, and you actually wake up more motivated in the morning. It's amazing. It's really amazing, because you'll notice the difference. If you find you do your little test and this one's blocked, you'll notice the difference overnight, I promise you. Because sometimes you wake up and you're like, oh, I can't be bothered, you know, like I can't be bothered like fixing the face and the hair and like getting up and doing that thing. But if you do the solar plexus meditation, you'll find you kind of wake up and you're like, I have lots of energy to do nice things for myself and like to better my situation, you know. Obviously you can also use yellow crystals. I don't know if I said that. So the next one is the heart chakra. So this one is green. This one is kind of like, I always feel it's like the brain of the chakra system. This chakra is all about love, unconditional love. So when it is open, you are connected to the universe in that way, and to everyone around you in that way, because we all resonate at the vibration of unconditional love at our core. So when it's open, you're going to find, like when it's balanced, you're going to find you're very connected to people around you, right? This one is, it gets easily blocked by like betrayals or times when you thought people have kind of hurt you in the past, okay? This one is actually one that is easily, it can be too open. So if it's too open, now this is the other thing, I hope I can explain it well. When one of them is too open or one of them is closed, like say your solar plexus is closed, okay, because you lack confidence, that is then going to mean that your heart chakra is too open because it is compensating for the solar plexus being closed, okay? So if you have like low self-esteem, low confidence, your heart chakra is going to be too open because you're giving too much of people, because too much of yourself to people, because you're seeking their validation, because you don't feel like you're enough, because the solar plexus is blocked. So you feel if you give more of yourself, they'll validate you, right? They won't. Only you can validate you. And actually, well, let's not get into that. That's for the deeper video, okay? But So if your heart chakra is too open, like I said, you're giving too much of yourself, which can lead you to be taken advantage of, right? People like you ending up in codependent relationships where you're the giver, the other person's the taker, right? And you kind of end up getting hurt. Also, if you're a natural healer, you'll probably find your heart chakra is too open because your true self just wants to give, right? But you haven't yet learned that you have to kind of curb that, right? So if it's closed, I mean, it can become closed because maybe people have hurt you in the past, you know. If it's closed, you will maybe find that you're lacking compassion, or you find it very difficult to forgive, or something like this, because this heart chakra is all about forgiveness of the self. If it's too open, you may find it difficult to forgive yourself. If it's too closed, you may find it difficult to forgive other people, right? So it's all about unconditional love. If it's not balanced, you will find it very hard to accept unconditional love into your life, because you will not feel worthy until this is balanced. Another thing is, like, if the heart chakra is closed, you'll probably find your solar plexus is too open, right? Because you're lacking compassion, so you're kind of hypercritical and bossy with people, because you're just like, well, just do what I say. Like, what are you complaining about? Just get on with it. Do you know what I mean? I have no empathy for you. Just do what I tell you. I feel like a lot of people's problems would really be helped if they just did some work on their chakras. This is, I think, why I'm obsessed with them. I'm like, everybody should work on their chakras all the time. So to balance this one, working on your own self-worth, working on forgiving people, working on forgiving yourself. You can eat green food, which is obviously super good for your body as well. And you can wear green, you can use green crystals, you can do your meditations, your chants, your affirmations. The next one is the throat chakra, which, as you can tell, I struggle with a lot. So this one is blue. If this one is blocked, you will find maybe that you always have kind of like you're always choking a little bit. I have to work on mine a lot, you know, because this one is all about expression of the self. So it's also to do with creativity, because when it's open, you're expressing yourself freely in terms of your art or what you want to create, but you're also expressing what you feel, what you think, you know, you're expressing your needs. If this is closed, you will find it very difficult to do that. For example, it usually ends up being closed because at some point you've learned that if you speak up for yourself, there's going to be some kind of consequence, so you learn not to do that. So it's difficult for you, like maybe, I don't know, say you're having one of those difficult discussions with people and they're genuinely trying to ask you what you think, right? They're going like, I don't think this is working, you know, say it's a work environment thing, right? And someone you're working with is going like, I don't think this group project is working. I feel like I'm doing too much, or I feel like you're not doing enough or something. And you know that you're doing loads, right? Or something like this. Or it could be like the work person is going, I don't think this is working, I don't like this idea, I think we should do it this way. And in your head you're going, I don't agree with that, no, you're wrong, like I don't agree with that at all. But you're just like, okay, because you physically, when it's blocked, you physically cannot speak up for yourself, like you can't speak up for your needs. Obviously it goes a lot deeper than that. You know, you can be in relationships where there's just someone riding roughshod over you and you're just going, okay, that's fine, I have no rights in this relationship, and that's fine, you just keep abusing me, totally fine. That's a blocked throat chakra, okay? Sometimes it can be that you're literally lost for words, like someone will ask you a question and you literally cannot make a sound come out. That's a blocked throat chakra. Also, a weird one about this is if it's blocked, people will misunderstand what you say. It's bizarre. It used to happen to me all the time. Like, I would be having a conversation with someone and they would ask me a question and I would give them a response, and then they would just start talking like about like I had said something completely different, and you just stood there going, what do you think I said? It's almost like they can't hear you. It's like you're speaking, you're making noise, but you're not being heard. If you have problems with hyper blushing, like blushing a lot, that's probably your throat chakra. It's also associated with shyness, okay? Because at some point you've learned, like I said, if I speak up for myself, there will be a consequence, okay? If it's too open, you know, you might find yourself, you have no filter, you just say things, you're talking over people and like you're talking too much, you know, this kind of thing. So there's not a lot of blue food that I can think of. I don't know, you can leave stuff in the comments. I can only think of blueberries. So you can eat blueberries to open this chakra. You can also drink peppermint tea. You can use blue crystals. Lapis lazuli is a really good one for opening the throat chakra. It's also good for Geminis, if there's any Geminis watching. You can wear blue. You can do your meditations. You can do your chants, which are really good. I actually do them before I do my my tarot. I'm sorry if I can't speak very well. It's like before Mercury retrograde shadow and I'm a Gemini, so I'm like blah. Yes. But you know, like I say, you can unblock it temporarily, but until you really get to the root cause of why it keeps blocking, it'll keep doing it, okay? Which I have to work on. I'm still working on mine, okay? So that's the throat chakra. So again, if this is blocked, your heart chakra is probably going to be too open, right? Because usually what happens is your throat chakra and your solar plexus chakra are blocked, so you have no self-worth, no self-confidence, you're not speaking up for yourself. So your heart chakra is super open because you're going, I'm just going to keep giving and giving and giving and hope that someone validates me at some point, because I'm not going to validate myself, right? And I'm not going to speak up for myself. So it's, yeah. So that's the throat chakra. This one here is the third eye chakra, the pineal gland. So the color of that is kind of like an indigo color. This one deals with vision, like I see, okay? It's all about seeing through the veil. Obviously is the most prominent connotation of the third eye, okay? So the third eye is about seeing through the veil. So you know, when you start to open this third eye chakra, you start to realize that like these things that you're sitting here with, like touching, is not the whole show, right? Because it's almost like you're seeing, it's like your imagination is, for want of a better word, it's your imagination, right? Because that's what seeing through the veil is when you start to realize that there's like things existing around you and next to you that you cannot see with your naked eye, like with your two human eyes, okay? So it's like your sixth sense, like seeing through the veil, seeing what's really there, right? So obviously this, like opening your third eye, helps you connect with the other side. It helps you connect with your true self, okay? When the third eye starts to open, that is you connecting with your true self, like the real you, not the ego, from the true self. Like that's when you gain access to the inner wisdom. So it does help you see through the veil. It also helps you see in general. Like if this one is blocked, you may find it difficult to have a vision for yourself in life. You may feel a bit lost with no direction. You're not sure which way to go. It also helps you see through situations in the 3D. So for example, with a person, right? Say there's like a person and they sound good on paper, you know, they're saying all the right things, they look good, you know, they're occasionally doing nice things for you, right? But there's something off with them, you know what I mean? Like when this third eye starts to open, this is why a lot of the time on the spiritual journey, when the third eye starts to open, you will end up with less people around you, because you kind of start to see through their BS. Because you start to be like, okay, I see that you're saying these things to me, and sometimes you even do something nice, but I just have this feeling that you really don't have my best interest at heart. And then you start to see other things that they've been doing that you kind of have been ignoring, this kind of thing. you know, like putting you down like surreptitiously, or like bitching about you behind your back, or stealing from you or something, you know what I mean? It kind of helps you see through things. Any kind of situation, you know. It can also like work in the other way, like maybe there's someone you work with that always seems like a big grump, but you actually see that they're a really nice person and they're maybe just a bit shy, you know what I mean? So it helps you communicate with your guides, it helps you communicate with your inner self, the true you, which is the one with all the knowledge, the one that knows what's up, right? So the color of this one is indigo, so you can wear purple. This is why you find a lot of kind of spiritual, like, people wear like purple, and they have a lot of purple around them. You can wear purple, you can eat purple food, you can use the chant for this one, which is Om. Meditation is how you're going to connect with your inner self, because realistically you're going to find it difficult to connect with the inner you if you don't make time to listen to them, right? Because the world is so chaotic, everything's bright lights and loud noise, and it has to be done now, and there's 1,000 things to do, so it's difficult for your intuition to kind of come out unless you're kind of making time to listen to it. I mean, your intuition will still be there, you know, you'll still see through people, but in order to get that true guidance, to know what to do, it's if you meditate and sit with yourself, that will really help open your third eye. You can use crystals to open your third eye. Amethyst is a really one because it's purple. A lot of people use amethyst. You can also use clear quartz. You can use lapis lazuli. You can use labradorite. There's a bunch of them. There's a whole bunch of them for opening the third eye. I think that's everything about the third eye. And then the last one, excuse me, is the top one, the crown chakra, which is up here. So this one is like a violet color, but it also resonates with the color white. So when this one is open, this is when you will start to really connect with the universe. You're gonna know it's starting to open when you start to see those synchronicities. This is how a lot of people experience their spiritual awakening. You know, they start seeing like 1111 on the clock, or you know, they start seeing number synchronicities or something like this. Because the more that your crown chakra opens, the more that you are amenable to seeing these synchronicities, because the crown chakra is all about faith. When it's open, you have faith in the universe, your faith is expanding, you have faith in other people, you have faith in yourself, but above all, it's that connection to spirit where you're like, I'm not even worried because I know spirit has a plan. You know what I mean? So yeah, when it's open, you're starting to be more open to seeing synchronicities, which means that you will see more and more of them, right? It's about unconditional, like the unconditional love. It's about seeing the interconnectedness of all things. When this crown chakra starts to open, you will feel a lot more connected with everything around you, with the people around you, with the universe. This is when, like, this is messages from the universe coming in. When the third eye opens, that's kind of your inner self talking to you, like you're the true you, right? Your higher self. Whereas when it's your crown chakra, this is more like the universe giving you signs. I hope I've explained that well. That's the distinction between the two chakras. So when it starts to open, you can start to see the reason for things. You know, like, for example, maybe you got fired from a job, right? God forbid. Maybe you got fired from a job, right? And at the time, you know, maybe when your crown chakra is not open, you're kind of going, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is just like a punishment. I don't understand why this is happening. But when your crown chakra starts to open, you start to be like, huh, I can get a new job now. This has kind of freed me up to do something that I really wanted to do. You know what I mean? I mean, yes, it's inconvenient and it sucks and I need money, but it's given me that push that I need to do something else. You know what I mean? Or like maybe you're waiting for a romantic partner to come in. If this is not open, you're just gonna be like, oh well, like the hell with them then. You know what I mean? Like you're really selfish, like you've left this too long, you know, this is just a punishment from the universe, blah blah blah. Whereas when it starts to open, and you're open to it, you know, you can start to rationalize it a bit more and be like, well, no, because it's not just about me. This other person has lessons that they needed to learn, and it's not even just about them. People around them will have lessons that they needed to learn in order for this to line up, right? It's not just about you. Like when this chakra opens, that's what you'll start to realize, and you'll be like, oh, there's like patterns and stuff here, right? Yes, that is the crown chakra. I hope I explained that well. It's yeah, when it's like the interconnectedness of all things, and it just brings you a lot of peace because you start to understand the reasons behind things rather than it just being a random sequence of events. You're just like, oh, I see why this had to happen now, because if that hadn't happened then X, Y, and Z wouldn't have happened. You know what I mean? You can open it using the Om chant. Again, will open this chakra. Silence will open this chakra because it's about listening. Everything's just going really quiet, like the birds have stopped. Yeah, silence will help open this chakra because it's about listening to the world, like listening to, because when you are silent, that is when you start to kind of merge with the world around you. That's when you start to hear the birds tweeting, or like you start to kind of feel at peace. You know what I mean? So sitting in silence will help open this chakra. It resonates with violet, or the color white. So you can eat white food like garlic or coconut or lychees. The little brains, lychees. You can obviously, yeah, I said meditation, but there's a whole bunch of crystals you can use for this one as well. Affirmations. Some of the crystals, they're the same for like the third eye. So you can use clear quartz, you can use amethyst, labradorite, you can use howlite as well, like a bright white crystal. Any kind of white crystal you can use, but there's a ton of them as well. Selenite. If you watch a lot of tarot readings, like especially the pick a cards, they'll have like a long white stick. That's selenite, and it's really good for connecting you to your angels, like for opening up the crown chakra. That's why a lot of tarot readers use it. It's also, it helps you clean other things, so you can use it to clean your tarot cards, you can use it to clean your other crystals. It's just, I love selenite. So yeah, I think that's everything. This video is a bit longer than I wanted it to be, so sorry about that, but hopefully it's not too long. Hopefully you found something in it that's useful and you enjoyed it. Many thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe for me if you feel like doing that. I'd appreciate it so much. Many blessings, love and light.